Inshallah, we'll try to finish this khutbah and the salah by 2:05 or 2:10. 2:14 is Adhan al-Asr, whoever can stay after that, inshallah. And there's also a couple of announcements we need to make after the salah. Today's khutbah basically will be the conclusion to this concept of al-wahy and revelation, before we go to talk about how to prove that the deen of Islam and the prophethood of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and that the message of the Quran is the ultimate truth, and that there's no truth on earth with regards to revelations from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, untampered with, unchanged, except the Quran, and of course the Sunnah of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Now, we can get into this, but this will be a long topic. Generally speaking, I had mentioned that the importance of this topic in general was the fact that there is a spread of atheism all over the world, not only in Western countries, but it's starting to creep into our countries as well. And you find that some people deny the presence of God completely. And then some other people, they call themselves deists or rububiyin. Deists, they say, oh, I believe in a God, but I have nothing to do with those religions. Those religions are totally different. They're fighting against each other. I want nothing to do with this. That's another level of an atheism. Basically, this person doesn't want to think about it. He says, okay, this is enough for me. I believe in God. That's not enough. Now, and there's other people who are like agnostics and skeptics. Those people say, oh, I don't know. Maybe he's there, maybe he's not, and so on. But generally speaking, to answer and to get out of this problem of atheism, there are 3 steps for that. The first step is to know the evidence for the presence of the Creator. This is number 1. Number 2, to know the evidence, and of course to believe in all that, and believe in the evidence that proves that the presence of revelation and a connection between Allah and human beings and humanity in general is there, and it's a necessity of life. It has happened that Allah has revealed messages to prophets to deliver to humanity. That's the second step. And then the third step is to talk about which religion out of all these is the final true religion that is unchanged, that is pleasing to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, pleasing to God, that we should follow. You have to first see and feel this person who is talking to you. What level is he at? Is he still doubting the presence of God? Or is he at the second stage where he acknowledges the presence of God, but he is doubting that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made connection with humanity through his messages and prophets? Or is he already convinced by these 2 first steps, and now he's just lost? He doesn't know which religion is the truth. The first step I didn't talk about, because for us Muslims, it's unimaginable for somebody to doubt the presence of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the evidences for that and the proofs are innumerable. Basically everything that you see, you feel, you hear, everything that you even think about is a sign for the presence of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Rabb al-Alameen. Al-Alameen comes from the word alama. Alama means symbol or signal or sign. He is of course, you say it's translated the Lord of the worlds, but if you go to the Arabic root comes from alama, sign. Everything is a sign for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You are here, then your Creator was here before you, and He has no beginning. Al-Awwal. He is the beginner of everything, and He has no beginning. قل هو الله أحد الله صمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد وفي كل شيء له آية تدل على أنه الواحد. In every single thing, it's a sign. There's a sign that He is there and that He is one, because everything is working in unity, in harmony. If there was different creators, we would have different versions of creation, not going in harmony with each other. But everything is going in harmony. Even this simple glass of water that you are drinking, it would not come to existence if not the whole universe cooperated together, from the furthest galaxy to the clouds that bring you down the rain, All this has to go in harmony. And you just have to study a little bit about astronomy and things like this and see how things have to be in the perfect place in this universe for this life to happen, even for a drop of water to be provided for us. So we know that Allah is one. The second step, revelation, we talked about this in the previous khutbah, and this is the conclusion to this matter, that there are revelations. There is teaching from Allah to humanity in general. So you talk about the evidences we talked about in the last khutbah, that Allah has already taught humanity. Why deny revelations? Allah has given us the logical concepts through which we think, through which we have achieved all these scientific advances that we would not have achieved without those concepts that are already built within us, this system of thinking. Number two, the fitrah, that each one of us feels and knows that there is a superpower above him, supreme power that is controlling him. He is not in control of himself. He chose nothing with regards to his own creation. He never chose your color, your height, your intelligence, nothing you can choose. Everything is being, you are just receiving from a supreme power. If something goes wrong within you, even a single cell of cancer, the whole world may get together to try to save you and they can't. The one who created that cell of cancer is the only one who can save you from it, because the cell will divide and divide and divide, and then cancer takes over the whole body. So we are weak. We know there's a supreme power above us, and this is the fitrah that Allah has talked about. وَإِذْ أَخَذَ رَبُّكَ مِنْ بَنِي آدَمَ مِنْ ظُهُورِهِمْ ذُرِّيَّتَهُمْ. Allah brought out all humanity, every human being, to be born in front of him, and says, am I not your Lord? He said, yes. Everybody has acknowledged. Now we don't remember this conversation, but the effects of it are within us. And this innate feeling that we have within us, that there's a creator above us who controls everything in us. Something goes wrong with your eye, or you have little pain in your eye or something, you can't sleep at night. Even without pain, if you want to fall asleep, sometimes you can't fall asleep, except if Allah wills. Correct? Some people, or many people, fall asleep planning that they're going to do 1, 2, 3 tomorrow, and they never wake up. Correct? Many people are going sometimes for a party, even before they make it to the party, they're dead somehow. We see all these things, we've heard, and we've lived all these things. So there's no question about it. Fitrah, logical concepts, moral concepts, Allah has taught humanity. Every single human being on earth knows that justice, honesty, and truthfulness is something that ought to be practiced. It's good. The opposite is evil. We should avoid. Who taught us this? You bring somebody you've never met in China, and somebody, for instance, in the West, and they have never met. They all agree on the same concepts. How come? It's Allah's teaching. The conscience within us. We talked about all these things. I'm just reviewing with you. And the ilham, inspiration. Allah gives us inspiration in different circumstances on the right thing to do, and warns us in different circumstances that we shouldn't do that thing. That's the malak. That's the angel that blows this inspiration inside our minds and hearts and souls to tell us what is right and what is wrong. It is even mentioned in the Quran. Like Allah has mentioned inspiration to people other than the prophets. The example of Yusuf alayhi salam, وَأَوْحَيْنَا إِلَيْهِ لَتُنَبِّئَنَّهُمْ بِأَمْرِهِمْ هَذَا وَهُمْ لَا يَشْعُرُونَ. They're throwing him in the well, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because he's a little boy and he's afraid what is going to happen to me being thrown in a well. Am I going to die? Am I going to drown? Is a snake going to come, or a scorpion, and kill me? So as they are throwing him, وَأَوْحَيْنَا إِلَيْهِ لَتُنَبِّئَنَّهُمْ بِأَمْرِهِمْ هَذَا وَهُمْ لَا يَشْعُرُونَ. I revealed to him. He wasn't a prophet at the time. Which means Allah sent an angel to make him sure on the inside about this fact. لَتُنَبِّئَنَّهُمْ بِأَمْرِهِمْ هَذَا وَهُمْ لَا يَشْعُرُونَ. That there will come a day that you will meet again with your brothers and tell them about this conspiracy and what they have done to you. Which means that he will live and he will grow up and he will meet his brothers again and tell them what happened. He will be saved. Also, وَأَوْحَيْنَا إِلَى أُمِّ مُوسَى. Musa in the Quran is mentioned. She wasn't a prophet, and there's no woman prophet anyhow. So وَأَوْحَيْنَا, it's in the Quran, وَمَا أَرْسَلْنَا مِنْ قَبْلِكَ إِلَّا رِجَالًا. Only men are sent as prophets, because prophethood needs lots of mixing and sometimes fighting and battles. this cannot be done except by men. So only Allah has chosen male prophets. But Musa, وَأَوْحَيْنَا إِلَى أُمِّ مُوسَى أَنْ أَرْضِعِيهِ. Now she's afraid that her son might be killed by Pharaoh and his soldiers. Then an inspiration comes to her to throw him in the river or in the sea. It's a river, probably the Nile River, because in Arabic, al-Yam could be this or that, sea or river. She's trying to save him from a probable death, and she's thrown him to a definite and sure death in the river. How could this be? You're trying to save your child, you throw him in the river, then you're sure he's going to die. For subhanallah. But this inspiration came to her. وَأَوْحَيْنَا إِلَى أُمِّ مُوسَى أَنْ أَرْضِعِيهِ فَإِذَا خِفْتِ عَلَيْهِ. You're afraid? Throw him in the river. فَأَلْقِيهِ فِي الْيَمِّ وَلَا تَخَافِي وَلَا تَحْزَنِي. Do not fear, do not feel bad, do not feel sorry. لا تخافي ولا تحزني. لا خوف عليهم ولا هم يحزنون. See? ولا تخافي ولا تحزني. إِنَّا رَادُّوهُ إِلَيْكِ وَجَعِلُوهُ مِنَ الْمُرْسَلِينَ. I will bring him back to you and I will make him a prophet. This piece of information, if it comes from the angel, you are sure it will happen. If you get ilham from an angel like this, you are sure it will happen. It just happens. You feel this is the truth that's going to happen. So ilham, we talked about this. And then finally, and most importantly, is that prophets have come, messages have been sent down by Allah. Every nation, every tribe on earth has a religion. They know of a prophet that came to them one day. Some of them elevated him to the level of becoming a deity or a god. But they know of somebody, a human being, they value, revere, such as Buddhists when they revere Buddha, for instance, but probably he was a prophet to them. Christians, they've elevated Jesus to a level of being God, but he was a prophet to them, and so on. This happens. Even some Muslims elevate the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ or some of his family members to levels that are close to God. Of course, this is all shirk, but I'm just saying that the fact that this is present in every nation, they have places to worship, they have acts of worship, ibadat, rituals, they direct their dua to a supreme power. Where did all this come from? Messages have been sent by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And then finally, the next step will be to talk about why Islam is the only truth on earth today.